Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division with the qualifying round win here for the Summer Major Tournament in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guides by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. We do offer for Pro, Expert and Master, and we do have the best guides on the market. Follow the info box on the right hand side for the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, you're gonna see two options. One where we're gonna blast it, which I do recommend. But for those of you that do feel uncomfortable when playing with overpower, we do have a layup option as well. 0.4 bars of topspin, 2 right spin, and we start in complete max distance with half of the 4th ring outside on the fairway with Apocalypse level 7 and 8. Apocalypse level 5 and 6, we do have then 2/3 of the 4th ring outside on the fairway. Adjust max plus 10 and then we're gonna push up. So I would recommend here for a 16.4 miles per hour, we'll push up to the top of plus 22. Have in mind that you could see there on my pull that I definitely played with a 1201 pull angle. Was pretty bad, and please try to stay away from that because a 1201 combined with a great right will be very close to the water. So a straight pull, and if you're gonna favor anything, favor 1159 because we do have a lot of room on that fairway. The plan here is not really to get the ball to green, but get the ball as close as possible to make sure that the second shot is gonna be as simple as possible. The second shot is played EB School with 20% over adjustment, so a classic EB School for you there. Power 5 ball settings, no spin on that wedge. But again, this is a way of getting close to green for a simple start with a simple eagle. But again, for those of you that feel uncomfortable with overpower, and then we do have a layup option coming here. For option number 2 on hole number 1, we are going to start by doing a no movement. So don't touch your target until it's time to adjust the rings. And we're going to play with 5 bars of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the right. Once we have added the spin, then we're gonna adjust for our shot. We're gonna play max plus 10, power 3 ball settings to be absolutely exact. So max plus 10, power 3 ball settings. Once that is done, we shall then use outside wall curl to the right. The reason we want to use the curl is to prevent us from rolling too far if we do get that glitch roll and go into the bunker. So that's kind of the only thing. You could stay away from the curl if you want to, and you will most likely be safe, but better to be ultra safe when we're gonna lay up. Now for the second shot, we're gonna play with a short iron towards the pin, and the beauty with this one here now is that we do have a straight wind towards the pin, or at least almost. So what we want to do first, do what I did at the start of the video. Move your target into the second rough line into the rough to read the plus yardage. That was plus 5. Plus 5 equals then 50% slider, 10% elevation, and I'm looking to have the bottom of the yellow ring to be just by the start of the fringe. That's for Falcon level 8, Falcon level 7, with Hornet level 8 and 9, but when it comes to Thorn level 9, we want to have 1/4 of the yellow ring to be before the fringe. This because the Thorn has a different accuracy than what the other clubs are having. So it's very important that you do make that change, otherwise you will be off with this shot. Every perfect that I've hit so far on this one, because this was the option I started with before I went over to the blast, every perfect have dropped. So I'm very comfortable that this is going to drop with a perfect. But again, you judge yourself which way you want to play. Either you go for the blast, which I do recommend, because it's not as hard to blast that ball to be close to green, or you just lay up and take a safe way. You will always be getting the birdie, no matter what. No water is in play, but obviously it relies on that you do hit perfect on the second shot. For hole number 2, you will see 2 options, and it all depends on how aggressive you want to go. But if you do want to have the best chance for an hole-in-one here, this is the shot. And I would like to call this one a money shot, because this one I have dropped more than what I've missed. I have a very high percentage of drop for this shot. So what we're looking for is to first add spin. 3 right spin, 4 back spin. You can play with power 0, 1, 2, or 3 ball if you want to. Now, you look for the inner ring to be right side by the edge of the rough, with the ball guideline to the hole. Not through the hole, not short of hole, to the hole. Very important. Once that is done, you shall then zoom out a little bit to make sure the cactus is not in your way. And then you adjust for minimum distance, no elevation, power to ball settings. Center the ball, hit perfect, and if you hit perfect, this ball is definitely going to have a very good chance for a drop. Based on where the ball lands, it looks like minor greats still have a chance to hit the rough, but I would like to say that this is the reason why this shot is risky, and this is also the reason why we are having 2 options on hole number 2 to not force people into playing something that could, if you hit a bad shot or make a misadjustment or have some accidental overpower on the power and stuff like that, that you will miss the rough. But again though, we're gonna take a look at option number 2, but option number 1 is gonna be by far the best chance for an hole-in-one here. Option number 2 is going to be a free-to-play option as well. Start with any power 3 ball, but if preferred to play with a Centurion or a Kingslayer to have the power 3, but also the side spin 3, or better for that matter. Start at complete max, red ring by the rough line to the right, and then we apply spin. So we're gonna go 2.2 backspin and 1.5 bar side spin to the right. Turn the screen around, we're gonna adjust max plus 10 power 3 ball settings. And the difficult part with this shot with a sniper to try to get this one consistent is that we're gonna have to adjust more than 10 rings. Always when we do adjust more than 10 rings, it's gonna be difficult to be, you know, exact, so to speak. What I would like you to do though is when you adjust, let's say that you shall adjust 11 rings. Alright, then I want you to adjust 2 times over the bullseye. So for an example, adjust 6 rings first, then you adjust 5 rings and make sure that the last 5 rings is also then pulled over the bullseye to make sure to get the exact correct way of adjusting this shot as I'm doing here on the video. But this is a safe way where the hole-in-one will not be as common as it will be with the rough bump, but no matter what you do here with this shot, I would say that you're gonna get a birdie at least, and you will never risk missing the rough as we do on the rough bump and then bounce out of bounds or into the rough or into the sand and miss the hole-in-one. So a decent chance, but I recommend the rough bump in the end here on hole number 2. On hole number 3, we're gonna play a very tough win, and I decided to go with a Silver State ball as I invested a lot in those balls. But you can play with a Megalodon, you can play with a Luminary as well. As it has power 5, the only difference is gonna be is that you're gonna use more or less overpower depending on what wind strength you have on your ball. Plus 14 with Thor's Hammer level 8, plus 17 with Thor's Hammer 6 and 7. Always max top spin, no side spin. Ball guideline point straight down the fairway. Adjust max plus 10. And then you're gonna use the overpower you adjust into. So for Thor's Hammer level 7, level 8, that's gonna be the case. Thor's Hammer level 6, you're gonna add 1 additional ring. Why? It's because you have less topspin on Thor's Hammer level 6. Get the ball up to somewhere between 380 to 390. That's what we're looking for, and that's also a reason, like, I don't want to push the drive harder, because with a bad great left or a bad great right, then I will, if so, go into the rough. But now when we do play for a shorter drive, then we are going to always be able to hit great left or great right without being into any trouble. Now for the second shot, 1 backspin and 2.2 bars of backspin, if you do get to around 380. Now I'm looking to have the ball guideline to go 1 green square right of pin, and I want it to be approximately 3 to 3.5 green squares past the pin. This is a very difficult shot to play, so have that in mind when you play. I'm not expecting an albatross, I'm expecting myself to be around the pin, but I'm not expecting it to drop because there's so many moving parts in this chart. Because we're not done just by setting it up like this. We're going to adjust here for 20% elevation and then use sliders. So we're gonna have +4 equals 65%. So if we do adjust to the center of the bunker, where is the lowest part, then we're gonna use the overpower that is on the video. If we do have if we are into the top of the bunker, which I am here on this shot, then we need to reduce the overpower slightly. Because the reason I'm missing so much to the right here is because I'm having too much overpower, so I'm hitting a different spot. But again, hole number 3, with this win, I'm not expecting much, so I'm taking my eagle and moving on to hole number 4. Hole number 4, a good chance for an eagle in my opinion. We start with a no movement to try to simplify this as much as possible. 2 bars of left spin and 5.8 bars of top spin. Once that is done, we shall then adjust for max +10 power 4 ball settings, so not power 3. So with the Apocalypse level 8, this is 1-to-1, which is very simple to remember. Now, you can see we are not in max distance, so we're gonna push up to complete max. It doesn't matter what wind strength you are going to have, or you're having, and then we need to make sure, once again, that we are pushing up complete max there, so we do get the distance for the second shot. Here you can see that we're getting fairly close to the rough line on the left. A minor great left shall be safe, or at least as a worst case scenario, clip the rough and roll out, so we still have a chance towards the pin. But a bad great left will most likely stay into the rough, so have that in mind. And the reason I want to gamble with that is it's because even if I move more right, I still need to push the ball in left, otherwise we're going to roll out into the rough, or we're going to roll so far away from towards the pin that we're going to be in between clubs with the second shot. So kind of like picking the best of the worst things, in my opinion here. Now, second shot is going to be played with a short iron towards the pin, and the short iron is going to be preferably the Falcon level 6, 7 or 8. Level 6 can be played as it is a rough bump, but then we still have the ball guideline to follow. Always top of the red ring by the rough line with ball guideline to the hole, and in this case it's 3.5 bar top spin, and I'm using the fringe as a reference check. So with the fringe here, we have in that case +5, right? So what we want to do here is that we want to play this one 68% slider, 5% elevation, power 3 ball settings. The problem we have here though is that I'm not playing 68% slider, I'm playing 64. So we need those 2 extra decimals here, because that's what makes me miss on the left here. You can see I hit the rough nicely and the speed is good, but we just barely miss on the left hand side. So we need those extra 0.2 to our adjustment there to make sure that we're gonna get this ball in the hole, because this is a hole where if you hit a perfect on the second shot, you are not allowed to miss, in my opinion. Then you have made a mistake, which I make here. So in the end, follow this to the letter, hit perfect with a free to play ball, and you should be rewarded with an eagle. I know there will be coming questions to me, why don't I send it? Why don't I try to slice it? And I kind of asked the question back, what's the point in playing so aggressive in the qualifying round? What's the point in gambling so much with the water, where we know with the adjustment here, a perfect is going to be in? It would be different. It's different on hole number 1, because then we do have a lot more room. Here we don't really have much room, and we're gambling a lot, and it will still be a lot of situations where we will be getting that ball into the rough or into the sand, even if we play a power hook shot, I think it is, coming right to left there. So this is the reason why I'm removing that completely from my portfolio here in qualifying round. But obviously, if we do have a tailwind in opening round, we may explore that opportunity. But again, now we play with a free-to-play ball, get ourselves the eagle with a perfect ball on the second shot. For hole number 5, we are going to go for a rough bump here as well. This one is a bit more safe, than the one that we do have on hole number 2, but this is also a good opportunity. Look for the inner ring to the left by the rough line, with the right side of yellow ring to be by the sand trap line. Then look at the ball guideline to have then that swirl in the end of the ball guideline to fall down center into the green square. Once that is done, and this is all before the spin, then we add spin, which is 2 clicks of top spin, so 0.1 bar of top spin and 1 bar of side spin to the right. That's why there is definitely value in using a side spin 1 ball here to simplify the side spin amount. Adjust max no elevation power 3 ball settings and hit perfect. The ball will hit the rough. You can see that we do have a lot of space left and right because the headwind here is pulling ourselves back, or like further back, which means that we still have room for a great ball. I've hit great left and great right, and I can tell you that it's still going to be safe. In the end, hole number 5 with headwind is harder than having a straight crosswind or a tailwind, but in the end though, it's a very good chance for an hole-in-one. To have that said, with the balls as well, you don't have to play with a power 3 ball. You can play with a power 2 ball as well, or power 4 or power 5 if you want to here with the quarterback. Another very boring wind on the second par 5, direct headwind, and we're gonna play this one only for an eagle. We're not gonna look into the albatross at all. We start at the top of +7. Bullseye just by the edge of the rough. This you can mimic with all types of Apocalypse clubs. 7 bars top spin, 2 right spin, and then we're gonna adjust max +10. When it comes to Apocalypse level 5, I know you have less top spin, but you can still play the same type of shot. It's the only difference is that you're gonna reach to not as far as we're doing here. Max +10, adjust max overpower, max curl to the right always if you have wind above 11.5. When you have wind less than 11.5, I would recommend to reduce slight overpower with Apocalypse level 6 and 7 and 8. Apocalypse 5, always max. 378, and you know, we're looking to be somewhere there. I'm not really paying that much attention to the yardage on this hole, to be honest. Because second shot, I'm gonna go with 6 top spin, 2 left spin always. And look at the second bounce here, because that's the key. Second bounce needs to be centered into that rough patch that is, you can see there, that's kind of like a line or like this little stream of rough or whatever we would like to call it. We want the second bounce to be centered into there. Adjustment from +11 base is max +10. And what I do here on the video is that I use overpower that I do adjust into. We want to reduce the overpower to be half a ring less than what I adjust into, and we want to go with just less than max curl. So we're not gonna use max curl even if I clip the rough here. You may be wondering why not max curl. It's because if you hit a great left, you're gonna miss the rough with this, because the rough is not, you know, straight. The rough is kind of diagonal, so you have less rough to the left. A great right will always gonna be safe, but the only plan we are looking for here is to bounce into the rough to roll out. So have that in mind. So play it safe, take your eagle, and move on to hole number 7. For hole number 7, we're looking for a wind number between 12 and 13 miles per hour. Because I'm not gonna go for a power slice here. I don't really feel that the risk is worth it, especially not in the qualifying round. I know we talked about that on hole number 4 already. So we're gonna do a very simple thing anyway. So we're gonna play always with 7 top spin and 2 right spin. Look to where I aim with my target here now. I'm aiming for the left side of that specific rock. And how do I know if it is the left side? It's because I follow the ball guideline. 7 top spin, 2 right spin. And then you may be wondering now, why didn't I adjust? It's because we're not gonna do that. It's as simple as it is. That's why I'm not suggesting an elevation. So regardless what wind angle you're going to have here on this shot, you want wind between 12 and 13 miles per hour for this shot. I would rather take a 13.5 miles per hour than I would take an 11 miles per hour wind. Because the idea here is to hit the rough and roll out, to either be into short iron range or to be in long iron range. So we're going to take a look at the short iron range here at first, which is, let's see, where option 1 here. So we have the short iron range, and here we're going to use the plus yardage that we have when we do set up our target. 3.8 backspin. I'm going to have the ball guideline short of pin. Very important, because otherwise you will most likely bounce over the hole, because we do have a little tailwind and a strong wind. So ball guideline approximately half a green square short of pin. Now, we're going to use the plus 3 yard mark, as you can see there. The plus 3 yard mark here is going to equal 85% slider, 20% elevation, power 5 ball settings. And we adjust 2 times over the bullseye. So let's say that I shall adjust 11 rings. I adjust 6 rings and then make sure that I pull over the bullseye, and then additional 5 rings. Unfortunately, I hit great left, but it does miss as we would be hitting a great left. So therefore, I feel very confident that with a perfect, we're going to get this ball to be in the hole. But what happens if you get short, so you can't reach with your short iron like that? Because I can tell you like this, because 2 things will happen after the drive. Either we're going to have a glitch roll out from the rough, then the falcon shot is going to be the play. But if we do have, according to the drive that you can see here in the video, where we have dead bounces, yes, I'm using the same drive for both second shots, but then we're not going to be able to play with a short iron. Then we're going to have to play with a long iron instead. And what I want you to do here to avoid the bumpy part just beside of the bunker is to use the B52 or the Grizzly. Look for the spot that is just by that second rough line. Max backspin with B52 level 8 and 2 left spin. And here it is where Grizzly comes in as well. So we're gonna do like that. We aim with max backspin, 2 left spin, ball guideline to the hole. And for a 12.2 miles per hour here, we are not gonna use the 20% elevation. I'm gonna change that. We're gonna change that to 15. And then we do adjust 2 times over the bullseye, and plus 7 should in that case equal 22% slider, 15% elevation. And then you may be wondering, why do I miss this shot then? It's because if you pay close attention, I aim with my ball guideline above the pin, so it doesn't take the turn or the curve as I want to. But again, these are 2 shots that is not easy to make. But again, I don't want, in the qualifying round, risk by going into the water, because I've seen plenty of opponents already this early go into the water even with high wind. And the rest of them has, if so, being above the green into the rough far behind or into the bunker short. And I don't want to play with those margins, and especially when the water is in play. Would be a different thing if I would be getting this ball to green all the time, or at least close to green, or at least on the fairway by the green, something like that. So I might be too conservative in this case, but when I weigh the different options in mind, I do believe that we do have a solid play that will always result into a birdie. We will not take that much risk, but we always then have a plan with either the long iron or the short iron for the second shot. I want to add as well, when it comes to the backspin on B52, B52 level 8 has only 1 stat difference than Grizzly level 8. So you're gonna do 5.8 bars of backspin. So you're either gonna play with B52 in max level, or you're gonna play with Grizzly level 8 or level 9. So you cannot go below B52 level 8 in that case. So what you do then, you either add 12% extra slider to the suggested slider here, compensate for the Grizzly distance, or you use the B52 numbers in app when it comes to using the Grizzly. I know a lot of stuff there. Make sure you ask in the description down below if you have any questions. For hole number 8, the final of the par 3, and we are once again going to go for a rough bump. Start with any power 0 ball in complete max distance, preferably to play with a basic ball to make sure that you're not getting any intentional or unintentional side spin. Yellow ring to be by the sand trap line, and we're using 3 bars of backspin only. Once that is done, you can then change to whatever wind fireball you want to play with. It doesn't have to be a power 0, it could be a power 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, it doesn't matter. Minimum distance with a 5% over adjustment, power 1 ball settings, and look. The final tweak here is that we do want to go with underpower to be just before the circle cracks. So what you do is that you go slowly up so the ring cracks or the circle cracks, and then you pull back to be just before. This one has dropped several times already, and I'm close to consider this one to be a money shot, as already said on hole number 2, the rough bump. But in the end though, the underpower is a little bit tricky, and you may wonder, why do we go with underpower? It's because we are adjusting from a lower to a higher point. So instead of having to turn the screen around to pull back a ring or two to compensate for that, we wanted to use the underpower instead to simplify that type of tricky element that is when you do adjust from a lower to a higher point in Golf Clash. For hole number 9, we're gonna play a no movement once again. Max top spin and 2 left spin. And here you may be wondering what to do with Apocalypse 5 and 6. I will tell you in a bit. Adjust max plus 10, and then we shall push up to max. It's sometimes we don't need to push up to max, sometimes we do have to. But make sure that you're not in max. Always push up to max. Max overpower is what we're looking for, and we're looking to use 1 ball of curl to the left. Perfect, great left, great right has been safe on this drive in terms of, first and foremost, getting over. Second of all, then to stay away from either rough on left or bunker on right. And here it's all about the first bounce. If you do have a crappy first bounce, you may clip the rough on the other side, and then you may have to have a sniper towards the pin. It's never gonna be a problem in getting the eagle regardless, but we are obviously looking to get into B52 range. What I would like to say though with Apocalypse 5 and 6, use a Berserker ball with Apocalypse 5 always. Doesn't matter what wind you're gonna have, always a Berserker ball. This to carry further up, to make sure that the lesser topspin still not gonna be a problem. When it comes to Apocalypse level 6, you can still play with a Luminary, but then you are dependent on a pretty decent tailwind angle to not clip the rough. So if you can, go with a Wind 2 ball or even a Wind 1 ball to make sure that you're gonna get over. Or like you're still gonna get over, but get over without clipping the rough. Second shot, we're gonna play a B52, and here comes a tricky second shot because of all the bumpy parts. Like this fairway is very bumpy, so I'm trying to use the side spin that I do have, the side spin 2 here, to avoid the bumpy parts on the right. But as we do have wind coming right to left, we're not gonna do that. So I'm gonna try to be as detailed in my explanation possible here. 2 bars of side spin to the right, 3 bars of backspin. I'm looking to do a fringe check. A start of the fringe check here on that one. 25% elevation, use as a reference, plus 4 when it comes to fringe check, 16% slider, and then once again 25% elevation. Here I adjust a little bit too less. I adjust 12% slider in this case, and I needed a little bit more. But you can see it bounces nicely on that fairway top, and then it just barely missed. We do have a chance. But alright, if you hit a great right on your drive, what I recommend you to do is to actually reduce the adjustment with 5% elevation, to play 20% elevation instead. Why? It's because you come into a different angle, and as we don't have more side spin to use, we are going to adjust into another bumpy part of that fairway, and then we need to reduce the adjustment to not have a bounce that's gonna push you it's gonna push you a weird amount to the right. So we need to reduce the elevation in that case. With a perfect drive or a great left on drive, you're just gonna do here, you're just gonna use the 25% elevation. You can use the Grizzly as well, add 12% extra slider, or you use the B52 numbers in your app. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division qualifying round edition here for the Summer Major Tournament in the Wiseacre Ranch. And the video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure to get the ultimate tournament guides for Master or for Pro and Expert by going to patreon.com/GolfClashTommy, link directly in the description down below. Once again, thank you for watching and good luck in your Golf Clash game.